How's it going, guys? Welcome back. All right. I don't know why I'm screaming, guys. I didn't have caffeine. So I just want to say hi. Welcome back. It's Super Bravo Tuesday. And thank you guys again for bearing with me through this move, through these time changes, and everything that I have going on. You guys are the best. I also want to say thank you guys for the PayPal donations. I really appreciate you. I just received a few, especially from Alora and also Alori. So thank you both. You guys are awesome. And then for all of the super chats and super stickers, because just without your support, we wouldn't be here having a channel and we wouldn't be able to build this community. So I just really appreciate you guys. Since it is Super Bravo Tuesday, I wanted to bring a special guest on with me who will be joining me here in a few minutes to talk about the Real Housewives of Orange County. So guys, you know that I'm excited about the Real Housewives of Orange County already because I'll be covering it with DJ Richie Sky on Thursdays, but this is a real Orange County insider. So when he jumps on, you've seen him before. His name's Steve. He has an Instagram called Faces by Bravo. And yeah, it's going to be fun. Hold on. Let me go ahead and drop the link. That way everybody can call in and join when Steve calls in. Okay. But I did want to move on and say today we're going to be talking about the Real Housewives of Orange County. We're going to be talking about Cynthia and Mike getting married. We're obviously going to be talking about the stripper drama that was going on with Tanya and Portia because none of that is true. None of it happened. It didn't go down, but we'll dive more into that. And actually, there's a lot of other YouTubers who have already covered this. So you guys are asking me the questions. I'm just bringing you the answers, but we'll come back to cover that. And then I want to talk to you guys about VPR because they keep saying that we could potentially be casting these different people for VPR, but I'm just curious if you guys think it's even coming back. With that being said, I think it would be a great time to drop this link and jump right in and see what we can do. So guys, I wanted to talk about the Real Housewives of Orange County first because they are coming back tomorrow. 70 in the room, guys. Hit like. Thank you. Sorry, a little scatterbrain. I'm moving. Hit like. It helps a lot. And yes, Real Housewives of Orange County starts tomorrow, guys. And I'm so excited for it because yes, Vicky's gone and sure, Tamra's gone, but I don't really care about that. They're not the make or break for me. Honestly, up until recently with Kelly Dodd's bad behavior, I was really excited about seeing her. Even though she did that stupid Drunk Wives Matter hat, she wore that dumb hat, and she had this really awful apology. I still like watching her on reality TV just because she's kind of a crap show in the most respectful way. She brings the drama. I'm also excited for Bronwyn, but what I'm confused about is the 22 episodes going down to 12 episodes. So now we're completely shifting the dynamic and the format of the Real Housewives of Orange County. And Vicky and Tamra thought it was really funny. They thought, oh, okay, they have to go down episodes because they don't have enough content to work with because we're gone. And that might not be the case. It could be a budget shift. And it also could be that they're just trying to deliver us more fueled episodes, more packed episodes, just in a smaller amount. You see what I'm saying? Hold on 1 second. 100 people in the room, guys. Please hit like. It helps tremendously. And thank you so much, Vyra. I appreciate the super sticker. Why did Kelly Dodd schedule her wedding on the same day as Cynthia? Cynthia announced that date first. Why are Kelly and her husband wearing black? Was Kelly's wedding filmed by Bravo? Carrie, that's a great question. I'm not sure if it was filmed by Bravo. I have a feeling that it wasn't. I don't think that they let the cameras in. Jamal might know. Hi, Jamal.
Hey, what's up?
Jamal, you're always in a different setting, by the way.
Just taking care of some stuff around town. So I try not to be in the house. That's the main thing.
Okay, you just get around town. Question, Kelly Dodd's wedding. Did we film this or no? I thought it wasn't.
I don't think so because it looked like it was a small type of ceremony. You just only saw pictures, but I wouldn't think it was filmed though.
Yeah, exactly. And she also had her wedding in Sonoma. She wanted to have a small, intimate wedding and kind of give back to the community of Sonoma, especially after COVID and 2020. That was her statement, at least.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like she had a good time. Like they were happy, so I was happy for that. But it's not something that is Bravo filming worthy. I don't think they would want to film it anyway.
So question for you, though, Jamal, because I might be throwing a wrench into this for a second, but I'm curious, Kelly Dodd, could this have been damage control since it was such a last-minute small thing that she put together in order to save face, if that even made sense?
But didn't she have the date picked out last year, though?
Has she had this date?
I think she had, if I recall, the order she had her date before Cynthia had her date, or they were around the same time. I remember she was like, because remember last year there was like a fake post like, oh, I'm getting married 10/10/2020, and she said ha ha ha, and then he proposed like after that, and then that was the date.
I do remember that. Wow, you're really on the like little meticulous details.
It was only because I'm like, oh, I remember that because the 10/10/20 was like a big thing, and then Cynthia had it too. I'm like, wait a minute, isn't Kelly getting married the same day? So yeah, I remember that.
Well, Jamal, I want to keep you on really quick. I'm also going to bring on Steve, my good friend Steve, who also runs the Instagram page Faces by Bravo, because Steve obviously knows all the Orange County tea, and I know he can't share all of it with us, but I do have some questions.
Yes. Okay, cool.
Hi, Steve.
Hello, how are you?
How are you?
Hey, can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, cool. How you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Okay, so Steve, we have some questions for you because, listen, I know you got to be vague with us, of course. Yeah. You can't give us too much. But you did throw a tweet out there here recently, and I just want to, just so I don't mess up this said tweet, okay? You tweeted the last 3 seconds with a heart emoji and a crying face emoji, hashtag Real Housewives of Orange County, RHOC, which means you saw the first episode.
I have.
How was it?
I thought so here's the deal. I think everybody, when we saw the trailer, a lot of people had a lot of negativity towards it because, especially one cast member, and then also no one wants to relive COVID. I totally understand that. But what I will say is you got to give these people props for having only 4 to 5 weeks of normal filming, and then the rest of it was like months of trying to like in limbo. Yeah, and they were still able to come out with a show for us for entertainment. So I don't know how the whole season's going to play out, but what I will say for the first episode, if you're ignoring Kelly Dodd's, problematic behavior, it was fine. It was good. It's hard to, I know sometimes that's hard to ignore that because we're not supportive of, a lot of the shit she's said and done. So right. I think it's going to just depend on how you're watching it. And then on top of that, the last scene is, I mean, it's incredible. So
it's a good build up, and it leaves us kind of with a cliffhanger at the end, getting us excited about what's to come.
Yes. I mean, well, and it's just something that, I have personally known the whole time, and I'm just really glad that it never came out. So it's going to be just a really powerful ending. So I'm really excited for that.
Wow. Okay. Jamal?
Okay. Who should we care about? Because
what do you mean? There's a few.
I just know who should we care about. I'm sorry. To me, OC hasn't really been good since season 10.
No way.
I don't want to see Shannon crying.
I don't want to see Shannon crying. I think that's fair. But
I agree with you in a sense. I think OC hasn't been good since season 11. Okay. Last season, I felt like we were coming back in a direction by it was more, they had more things going on, more drama, but it still needed a shakeup. And I was expecting this season to get a shake up, like a season 5 shakeup of New York.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's what I wanted. And Andy even teased like the casting for next season is going to be incredible. Huge shakeup. They got rid of Tamra, which in my opinion, that's the Amiga that I think needed to stay. And then
right.
Yeah. And then Vicky, she was already a friend, and I don't think anyone really cared didn't want her to come back anyway. So I don't consider that a shakeup.
No. I don't think that Vicky going anywhere is I feel like we needed that to happen. But yeah. I do want to say with Bronwyn posting on October 8th, the photo with Tamra, I could totally see Tamra coming back, especially because her exit wasn't that dramatic. She just didn't want to take a lesser role. So, I mean, it's not like she's not, you know what I mean? She's not coming back, or she didn't go out with this whole Nene Leakes way about just trashing the whole network or whatever. She had her fun with Vicky, and she's like, good luck on the show, girls, or those housewives are boring and we are the show. But that's all fun, simple shade. I do want to ask you real quick, Steve, though. the fact that they went from 22 episodes to 12 episodes, is that just a production choice, or would that be because of COVID?
Because of COVID. I mean, so I'm not kidding. Like, I went to a filming event at March. I want to say it was March 10th or something, and then they stayed and filmed a little longer. And right then is when the pandemic happened. And of course, when everybody, like, when it all was first happening, we all were like, how long is this going to last? Like, I think people were just thinking, oh, COVID's going to be over in like a couple of months. We'll be back to normal. No, that's not how a pandemic works. And so I think filming, like, they stopped production for a while, and then they started adapting with like, all right, how can we continue? Because we built up all this momentum for the season, and then now we're done. So they found ways to be able to film things like on iPhones and stuff. And then they resumed filming, you know, modified still with like protection and everything. And then I don't think it was that many weeks, maybe a couple times. So in reality, you can't have a 22 episode season.
Right.
You got it. And I think everyone's like making the mistake of saying they're getting a short season because of, you know, punishment from Kelly Dodd, or
there's no drama.
You know, it sucks. It's literally not that. It's, we were in a pandemic and they couldn't film. Where the other Housewives, I think actually, Adam, you and I talked about this when I was on a couple times ago. This was the one Housewives show that was literally partway through filming. Everyone else had like, who had started to resume filming a new season, was maybe a week into filming. You can cut that week, but you can't cut 5 weeks of filming where a whole shit ton of stuff has happened and then just go from scratch, you know?
I have a question for you, Steve. Is this the season? Is this the season we actually care about Emily? Are we finally going to care about her?
I mean, I haven't seen the whole season or anything. I was just around a couple times. But you know, I like Emily. I think she could have been a good choice to keep around to bring in some other housewives from the past. Like, my dream would be bring Lizzie and Alexis back.
Thank you, Lizzie. My
no
girl.
way.
Lizzie's come back.
Lizzie, iconic.
No.
Yes.
No one has shaken Tamra Judge more than Lizzie Rovsak.
Yes. Lizzie came through.
Mm-hmm. And so I want Emily to be someone who can be a connector to bring some of those girls back. I can't help but laugh at the new hip thing and her tagline. Like, that is so cringy.
The curves thing. I'm like, ma'am, like, I'm going. You could have came to me. I could have rewrote y'all taglines. They were all trash.
I can't believe that they kept Emily though, as opposed to keeping somebody like Tamra. I can't believe Emily wouldn't have been offered the lesser role.
Think about one. They wanted to go in a different, like, they needed to get rid of one of the amigas. Think about cost. Emily's cost is nothing compared to Tamra Judge, who's making over $1 million.
Right.
Versus Emily, yeah, I don't know. I'm just going to throw a number out. Maybe 200 is my guess. I don't know.
Right.
So that's a huge budget change. That's my thought.
Okay, that makes sense. So it's a business decision. No, that makes sense.
That's my thought. I mean, again, this is not me knowing by fact. That's me, like, thinking about it in a business perspective. You're going to if you're going to shake up the amigas, like, Tamra's been on for a long time, and, you know, there was a lot of flashing out from fans that, like, she needs to move on. Her story's done. I disagree. I think Tamra would have been great and very adaptable to a cast shakeup.
Yeah.
Like, I think would actually go back to being like iconic Tamra, if, like, no longer in a Trace Amigas moment and with new blood.
Right.
Whereas Shannon, I think Shannon's story has played out.
Yeah, agreed. When's Gina leaving?
She'd be the one who you would be getting rid of. Okay. What'd you say, Jamal? Who's leaving?
When's Gina leaving? She can go now. One, her intro weave is still there. They should have fixed that for her. They're just doing her wrong. I mean, like, she has nothing going on. When is she leaving? I need her to go.
So my thought process on Gina last season was, originally I was like, I don't want Gina back. Like, I think she's run her course. But after that reunion, it was, to me, like, it would have been really nice to wrap up her story, seeing her no longer be in this abusive relationship and like find happiness. So I could understand sort of keeping that, but I don't know. That's just my.
She just gave me Deshaun Snow vibes. One season, get out.
I'm excited though about Elizabeth Lynn Vargas. I feel like she's gonna come in like a firecracker. Where okay, you don't have to say anything. You don't have to say.
No. I think Elizabeth is very, like, I've met her. She's very, very nice. I just don't know like what her storyline is gonna be. Like, she, to me, like, when I've been around her, she's not she's not feisty or anything to me. So like when all the blogs were coming out that she was like stirring a lot of things up, I don't know. She's always seemed very like chill and like just very normal. So I'm curious to see what her story is this season and what she brings.
Quick question. From what I can see so far and the taglines and the women, it's like, this seems very flat. It seems to go very flat. Is it going to be flat, or are they going to be like, will it like rise a little bit and then level out? Do you think? I don't really know like what goes on the whole season. Like I said, I've been around for a couple things, and you know, I know some things that I'm obviously not going to talk about because I can't. Right. But I really don't know much about how the season goes, other than, you know, they were filming normally for 5 weeks. There's a big event, mini cast trip, and the pandemic happens, and then for the pandemic, you know, they had to do a lot of modified filming.
Just real quick, Steve, just to shift the focus, because obviously your face is by Bravo, so we can talk about all things Bravo. Yes. VPR. So now we're talking about Jasmine Good, who could potentially be a castmate. Jax has come out and said that they're going to start filming this month, whatever, which we found out is obviously not true. Do you have an opinion as to whether or not we will be seeing that show?
I think we will have Vanderpump Rules back, whether it's in a Vanderpump Rules or if it's a Vanderpump Rules spinoff. I don't see them getting rid of the show.
Really?
If the way that I would want them to shift is based on what the casting choice or changes were from this past season, I want them to keep Ariana, Tom Sandoval, Tom Schwartz, and Katie, and make it a Tom type spinoff. Bring in a bunch of new people. Keep Charlie and like Danica and Dana around. Bring in some. Like, I want LGBT representation. I want, you know, diversity. I want of, you know, all different races. I want everybody.
Would you keep Charlie?
Charlie was my favorite newbie.
Really?
He's a slow burn. I feel like she's like a slow burn. Like, people at the beginning were so confused by her, and then at the end, so many more people like loved her because they kind of understood her more. She was so quirky and like in her own world, and I fucking loved that.
Okay.
The only reason why she wasn't featured as much is I think she came into filming late. So that's why we only saw like a little bit of her. But she was my favorite.
I agree with you though too. I feel like it would have to, honestly, I don't think that they could continue adding on another season with with losing so many people, but I do think, like you said, they could definitely do like a little Spider spinoff from Tom, or if she's going to Vegas or something like that. I definitely could see that.
Yeah, I mean, I was shocked. Again, maybe they had something in the works, and you know, pandemic changes things, but I was shocked that they haven't done a Vegas spinoff yet. I mean, it was also kind of funny. They were bringing that bartender down in the finale.
The fake Sheena?
Mini Sheena. I mean, back when she first announced that they were opening, like, I immediately posted. I was like, spinoff idea, do Vanderpump Vegas and then have the original cast do a cast trip and do almost like a lead-in like Beverly Hills did for Vanderpump. And that was like, to me, like a brilliant like idea to get a new show. But that was a couple of years ago, so I don't know what their plan is for that. But
You're like, I have no idea anymore. Okay, so then real quick before I let you go, Steve, because I know you're a busy dude, and I appreciate you being here, by the way. Thank you.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Do we have any information on our new housewife for New York, Ebony K. Williams? Are you excited about her? Do you know anything about her?
I mean, I think she's joining as Leah's friend. Leah posted a picture of them out together the night of when it was announced. I know, they announced Bershawn as like joining in some capacity. But I think it's still up in the air whether she'll be full-time or a friend. Right. So that's great. And then I believe there's one more newbie coming, which hasn't been announced, but that's just what I've heard. I don't know if it's true or confirmed yet.
Okay. All right. Well, Jamal, before we go ahead and let Steve finish out his day and let him go, do you want to say anything?
Quick question. Are you excited about Salt Lake City? And if you are, if you could pick, who are your two favorite wives?
Oh, so Jen Shaw for sure.
That's such an obvious. That's going to be, by the way, that's going to be everybody's favorite.
Right.
I actually, there's the only one that I can't really figure out is Whitney. I just don't know that. I don't know. I just can't figure her out based on what I've seen on the trailers. But as weird as I told you on your show the first time I did it about Mary and her like amazing story arc, I actually feel like she's going to be iconic in a weird way, even though it's like an odd sort of uncomfortable family history. Right. I feel like she's going to be one of those like Kim Richards, Katie Rost vibes, if that makes sense. Okay. That's what I don't know. I feel like I'm going to end up standing her.
I really hope. I'm excited about Lisa Barlow too, by the way.
Lisa and Jen.
Well, I was going to say all of them. There's none of them that I'm not excited for. The only thing that I can't figure out is Whitney, because they didn't really show any of her storyline in the previews or whatever.
She said that she's as old as her stepkids, and we know that she's getting her vows renewed on this season of Salt Lake City. And then we also know that her husband was being indicted for business fraud. So
Whitney's was?
Yeah. So
I did not know that.
Yeah, so there's a lot going on with Whitney Rose, but we do know the kiss of death is getting your vows renewed on any sort of Housewives franchise. So
she'll be divorced. She'll be divorced by the end of the season.
Let's not say that.
Which vow renewals have worked out? Shannon Bedore, no, that was just fail.
I'm trying to think if there were any that worked out.
No, there has to have been.
There's got to have been one.
Lisa and Ken.
Huh?
Lisa
and Ken. Yeah, you're right. They did do one.
Okay, but they don't count. No.
What? You can't take it away as soon that you're lucky that you came up with that.
I'm so excited for Salt Lake. Like, I think it's crazy, but also amazing that the newest franchise is the one that is delivering us the most diverse cast and in their first season. Like, that's insane that it's taken this long. But I'm loving that we're seeing all different religions, because I know people are like worried about it being religious focused. I think it's going to be fascinating to see, like some of the different backgrounds and how they've made changes and like what goes on behind, like a sneak peek of what really goes on there. And Salt Lake is wealthy as fuck.
And when they talk about the transition to like Jen Shaw, when she's like, I'm converting from Mormon to Islam, assalamu alaikum, and you're like, what? I mean, I think their personalities are so funny, and a lot of people are anticipating that they're going to be boring or toned down because there's some element of religion to it. But that's so ignorant to think that.
Whole more exciting layer is the religious part, because it's all different. It's not like we're just exploring one religion. And I don't even know that it's going to be like a main focus. I just think it's going to be, you know, like an overarching theme of the season.
I think for me, Heather, I want to see, like, they make a big deal of the religion there. I want to see how Heather, who is divorced, and I want to see how the people around her treat her in that regard. That was one of the things that really drew me in. It was like, okay, this is a huge deal. I know that, but like, are you going to really be treated as differently as I think by your community and how you?
She's the one that's still Mormon. Yeah, she's still Mormon. That will be interesting. And then also, like, Whitney was previously a Mormon, and now she's not. We're gonna maybe learn about how her family or community, you know, how that changed once she left the Mormon church, and whether that made a difference or not. That'll be interesting.
According to her bio, it was it's a huge deal that she actually stopped being Mormon because she's from, like, I guess a very prestigious Mormon family. I'm like, okay, you're interesting to me.
So that's going to be interesting then. Yeah, that'll be great.
I can't wait to watch. I'm going to be watching it with my fiance, who also knows Salt Lake City because he was Mormon, not is anymore. But there's a lot. Yes, I'm fascinated about the element of religion. But Steve, again, I know I keep trying to get you off in a good time, so I'm not holding your time, and then I hold your time. So I just appreciate your time. Thank you for stopping by.
No
and
problem.
If you guys of course. And guys, if you haven't, please go check out Steve's Instagram page, Faces by Bravo, or your YouTube channel, which is, want to give a shout out?
Now we said it, but we're on a hiatus right now because one of our cast members is out of the country. So that's why we are on hiatus. But yes, please check out But Now We Said It on YouTube as well. We will be getting new stuff out as soon as he gets back.
Thank you, Steve.
Bye, Steve.
Bye, Jamal.
Bye, Steve.
All right, Jamal. So that was awesome. Amy Davis, Big Red, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for the super sticker. You're the best. And thank you for everybody and your love and support. Also, thank you for Steve for dropping in. I want to bring in another caller with us. We have Beck. Hi, Beck.
Morning. I don't know if you can hear me.
We can hear you.
Not really a comment. Just like to say I love you. Greetings from Sydney, Australia.
Wow. Hi, I love you too.
It's I'm in the future. It's 7:30 on Wednesday morning. So you can drop me now. I just wanted to say hi.
Okay. Well, thanks, Beck. Well, that was sweet. All right. Well, Jamal, just to kind of finish off our Super Bravo Tuesday for the day, I wanted to talk real quick about the Portia Tanya stripper drama. So you know what's going down with this, right?
Right.
Everyone does. We watch DJ Richie Sky. We watch all the YouTubers.
Exactly. Like but there's conflicting information, so we don't really know what's going on. There's, according to some vlogs, there's actual audio, maybe, and video. So I think this is going to be like a wait and see. Myself personally, I really do think production leaked this out just to hype up the season, because I think what it was, they looked at their footage from what they had, right? And they probably were like, man, like, we don't really have anything good from these first few episodes. And this kind of just fell in their lap. So I think they're just using what they have and running with it just to get people watching, because there's no Nene, so there's no foil for Kenya. And Kenya's not really at odds with anyone but Portia now, but you can't have a whole season of Portia and Kenya. It could be like last season between Kenya and Nene, so they really didn't want to have that. No, Cynthia's wedding's like, whatever. Who else is there?
Well, that's why Drew Sidora, even though Drew Sidora is our new full-time castmate and LaToya Ali is going to be a friend role, we need to, I hope they bring something too. But I definitely agree with you thinking it's pre-produced, because if it wasn't pre-produced, I don't think Portia would show up at that wedding with Dennis, even if they're not technically together. She's calling herself single. If she was, I mean, that just happened. I feel like she would be mortified to show her face.
Right. And she's just like, I'm here. But you have to remember, Portia doesn't care anyway. She doesn't take everything to heart.
Yeah.
As much as other people do. So she's the person who a scandal will come out and she'll show up the next day. She won't hide in the corner. That's just not her personality.
Well, you saw the stripper, the guy's name, Michael Ballware. He came on, you saw he did a video, right?
Yeah, I saw the video. I think he was paid off, I think he was paid for silence. I think it was paid for silence because something happened. There's too many reports that says something's happened, and there's actual audio. This is not like the whole Brandy Denise thing with some bogus like receipts. There's actual audio, and this is coming from the filming while they were filming. So I think he said what he said because he was paid. Because if he tells the truth, he'd be putting way too much out there.
Well, and also if he tells the truth, I'm sure because since he was a stripper, when you go into these filming things, you have to sign the NDAs.
Mm-hmm.
So he can't. If he tells the truth, it might be a legal battle with the network because he signed the NDA. So honestly, if somebody gives him 10, 15 grand to just go away, he might be like, all right, that's fine.
And did you see his quote? Or
did
you hear what he said? He's like, oh, nah, nothing happened. I don't need any extra mileage on my...
I did see, yeah, that's what he said at the end.
Right, and men, and let's be real, men, we do lie. We tend to lie on our stuff. But my thing is this: when we lie, generally is because we want to say we have more, or we're embarrassed about who we slept with. I mean, if you were there with Portia and Tanya, you gonna brag about that a little bit, but you can't given the position that you're in.
Right.
So I think either it's the NDA and or they paid him.
Okay. And then since this was around Cynthia and her bachelorette party, just out of curiosity, since we know Mike Hill's back history with his relationships and that he has cheated a few times, even wrote a book about how he's gotten through his infidelities, is this gonna work out or no?
I think it will, because I think the reason why I think it will is because of I think their main problem was they live in two separate areas. So she wants to move to LA to be with him, and that's a huge thing. But I think if I recall correctly, she's keeping Lake Bailey, so she's gonna keep her house.
Smart business decision.
Yeah, keep it what you've earned for yourself, but still be with your husband. I think she'll be there. She'll be more secure. You know, to me, they're a very nice couple. Like, and they're what, in their 50s, late 40s, 50s.
Yeah.
I mean, with Mike, I think kind of all the shenanigans are out because now you're more high profile because you're married to Cynthia Bailey. So your profile expands a little bit, so you can't really be out there in the streets like that.
So he's kind of gotten it out of his system.
I hope so. After 2 failed marriages, right? 2, 3 marriages, something like that. I think so.
I honestly, and I know that a lot of people have their opinions. Actually, this is going to sound crazy to you guys, and I can't bring receipts because then I can't show her phone number. But on the day of Cynthia's wedding, I woke up and Jason was right next to me and he said, look at this. And he showed me his phone and it said missed call from Cynthia Bailey. And he's like, she's getting married today. And Jason met her here in Los Angeles. Crazy story. But it just reminded me that she was getting married that day. And I was talking to Jason, having this whole conversation of, I can't believe she's having another marriage film. Like, how long is Cynthia Bailey going to be on the Real Housewives of Atlanta? That's where I was going with this is right. What is her longevity?
But Bravo didn't film it though.
Oh, Bravo didn't film it.
No, Cynthia's very devastated too.
Okay.
They didn't film it because of the pandemic. So they weren't going to take that risk to film, so they didn't film it. Mm-mm.
She also had 250 guests during a pandemic. I mean, how do you have 250 guests during a pandemic?
It was so the venue was huge from reports. It was like on a plantation outside of Atlanta, so they had all the social distancing. I think they provided masks, disinfectant, all that good stuff. From what I saw of the photos, Giselle was there, Karen was there. Funky Dineva was there. They said it was a good time and it was great, but a lot of people were giving her flack, like, why are you having this during the pandemic? But she had this date planned before the pandemic. I understand, definitely understand the pandemic point of view, but to have the venue's probably already booked and paid for, you can't.
But Kelly Dodd did a smaller ceremony. Stassi and Bo did
But I'm sure that her stuff is completely paid for, though. That's the main difference. When you pay for that much stuff, you're not really trying to change your date, because some places may not be forgiving, especially when they need the money. They may not, we're not giving you no refund.
Right.
So I get it.
Okay, so we think that they're gonna last. All right, and then you said real quick, and I might have missed it, since we were talking about Salt Lake City, it's one of the things that I'm looking forward to the most. And before I let you go, I have 2 more questions for you. But Salt Lake City, who were the 2 that you said you're looking forward to the most? Jen Shaw and
Lisa Barlow.
Okay. And then my next question was Bravo's chat room. Everyone's talking about this, and a lot of people aren't loving it. Have you watched it? Do you have an opinion?
I don't watch it. I don't like the people. I'm like, no, I don't care about. I like them separately, not together. It's like,
what an odd group of people.
Like, it's Portia, Kate, Giselle, and somebody else. I wasn't interested because basically to me, those people together, I can just see a complete cat fest, and them claiming amnesia when someone like roasts them on like Twitter.
Yeah. I mean, watching it, I wasn't getting too excited about it. I watched just a little bit about it, and then Pops always goes off because anytime Kate mentions Hannah, it's a problem. So yes. Okay, and then one last question before I let you go, Jamal. The Bachelorette, are we watching it? Only because, listen, we're limited on content out in the reality world. So are we watching it or no?
I've never watched it. I didn't understand. I'm like, this makes no sense. You guys probably aren't gonna get married anyway, or if you do, you're getting a divorce. It's a train wreck. Let's watch. I'd rather watch 90 Day Fiance reruns. I almost rather watch Darcy and Stacey.
So wait a minute. You think that it's a train wreck with a woman picking from about 20, 30 different men and then swapping tongues with at least 15 of them and then finally calling one her husband at the end and hoping that he doesn't have any animosity towards that?
Or STDs, but anyway. So yeah.
I'm sure the network checks them before. It's like if you go on Pornhub or something, they check you, right? I hope.
It's not just entertaining. To me, it's the same thing over and over again. I tried watching it one season, and I was just like, no. I mean, I just don't get I guess I don't get the appeal of it. To me, I see the appeal of like Bravo and TLC because these people are train wrecks. But you're just waiting to see like how far it goes before it goes off the tracks. The Bachelorette and Bachelor is like, oh my god, like I'm sorry, it's not you. Like, okay.
That's fair. Real quick, Jamal, before we go, hi Pearl.
Hey Pearl.
Hi guys.
Hi. So Pearl, before we go, I saw you down in the weight room, and I want to see what you wanted to sound off on.
I just wanted to ask about Cynthia's weddings.
Yep.
Are there no restrictions on the number of people you can have as a wedding guest in Atlanta? Do we know?
I think like what Jamal said, if it's on a plantation and you have all of this space spread out and you're not technically putting somebody in like a X amount of square footage, you might be able to get away with it because it's not technically like, we're like in Los Angeles right now when they open restaurants, they can only fill 25% of the indoor capacity. Like, I don't think it's like that out there because everything's outside.
Oh, okay, because the reason I ask is because in the UK, you can only have 15 people at a wedding.
Oh, wow.
15. You can have 30 people at a funeral and only 15 people at a wedding. So I'm actually, because I don't know what the laws are over in America, but I know that most countries have a limit on the maximum number of guests you can have, regardless of how large the venue is. So I was really shocked to see that she was able to pack in 250 people. And then also at the reception, literally, people were on top of each other, despite the social distancing. You had, at the first dance, which is normal, under normal circumstances, people just crowd together. But I didn't really see a lot of face masks being worn at that moment. So I thought, they should at least give them like COVID tests before they go into the wedding. So at least they make some.
Well, they could have. They might have. I mean, I'm sure they were sitting there with those little things that they shoot on the to get your temperature.
Yeah, the thermometers. Yeah, I hope they did something like that because it'd be terrible if someone there has it and it just spreads to all the guests and something horrible happens. I don't think I want that kind of responsibility.
Right.
But with that said, I think Cynthia looked amazing.
Yeah, yes. She did look good.
She looked so good. I mean, my God, if I look that good at 50, like, honestly, she looks better than me now. I hate to say it, but she
Pearl,
looks.
we're sure you look great. Bro, go ahead, Jamal.
I have a question. Just a quick break. Are we watching Southern Charm this season?
Yes.
I am because I wasn't going to because
Yes.
I love Cameron so much. She was like my favorite, and she left. I'm like, no. And I saw the trailers. Thomas is supposed to be having another baby. I'm gonna need to see that I need to see that train wreck. I need to see that.
I just had to start binge watching the other seasons, and I just made it through the 3rd season. So I'm making sure with my move and everything that I'm all caught up because yes, I will be watching that.
Patricia is going to be great as always. The trailer changed my mind because I was, like I said, Cameron. Who left? Cameron, Naomi, and one other girl left, and I was like, no, y'all can't leave because Cameron was like that moral center. But now with her gone, I'm like, y'all can really act a fool. I'm gonna be here for it.
What city is Southern Charm? Sorry, Adam. What city is Southern Charm? Because I think I watched one that was in New Orleans.
Yes, this one is this is the original. This is Charleston we're talking about. But yes,
Okay.
New Orleans was very good. Savannah was terrible.
Okay. Well, and by the way, Pearl, are you going to be watching Orange County or no?
Do you know what? Orange County was one of my, like, from day one, but I quit like 2 seasons ago because I don't know. I just couldn't get into the new people they kept bringing in. I just wasn't feeling any of them. And I just want, like, I want Fancy Pants back. I want Gretchen. I want
Fancy Pants.
I want the old class. I can't get into these new people. But I don't know. I might try it again and see if it's any good. But then if it's only, I was gonna ask. Having like fewer episodes, does that mean they get a pay cut as well, or do they still get the same pay?
I would think that they would, but it just depends on it depends if they're getting paid salary or per episode. I mean, each wife they have different lawyers who negotiate different contracts, and they usually don't know all of the details of each other's contracts. So I guess it just depends.
Mm.
I have a question for Pearl real quick. Hey, Pearl.
Yeah. Hey.
If you could pick 3 housewives to come back on Orange County, who would you choose?
Oh, okay. Tamara, definitely.
Okay.
Love Tamara. I say Tamara, Vicky, and Gretchen.
Okay, Adam.
No, Heather Dubrow, Tamara.
Oh yeah, Heather.
And honestly, there's not a 3rd one that I would bring back. There's just not a 3rd one I'd bring back.
Gotcha. For me, I think it's Heather, it's Lizzie, and honestly, this is gonna be out of left field for some people. Megan, with
King Edmonds.
Yes, because she's divorced.
Oh,
and I
yeah,
want to see her with I want to see her. I would love to see her with the kids, no jam, and talk about divorce and him sleeping with the nanny.
Oh yeah, she could be the new Brandy of the
Courtney. Her name is Courtney. I tried reaching out to her for an interview, but then she said, yeah. She's like, yeah, I'll do an interview with you. And then all of a sudden the next day she went silent. And I was like, ooh, you went and told Jim that you were doing an interview with me and he cut you off. That's exactly what happened. But
yeah, those are the 3 because I think they would add, like, because remember, Kelly and Megan were friends. So I want to see how that friendship has changed over the years.
Okay. All right. Well, Jamal, Pearl, I really appreciate you both sticking with me today on Tuesday, Super Bravo Tuesday. You guys are the best. Don't forget this Thursday, even though I'm going to be in transition with this whole crap show of a moving and whatever, I'm going to be at a hotel, but I will be live streaming with DJ Richie Sky to cover Real Housewives of Orange County. And there's going to be a lot of stuff coming up. So, and tomorrow we're going to be on with Wet Sock. We have a lot happening, guys. So I just appreciate you sticking in with us.
No worries at all. Happy to do it.
I'm going to bang my head against the wall after this. So that's kind of how. Thanks, Jamal.
All right, sir.
All right. Thanks, Jamal, always. And thank you for moderating. I appreciate you. And Pearl, thank you for calling in. I always appreciate and love it.
Love you, Adam.
Talk to you
Bye,
soon.
Jamal.
Bye, Pearl.
Bye, guys. All right, guys, over 300 in the room. Thank you so much. Please, if you haven't already, like this video. It helps tremendously. I'm going to finish up packing and getting this stuff done. Just wish me luck. I'm going to go cry now.